Okay, we're on. Hello, I guess, and welcome to the YouTube. What we're gonna do, we're gonna use this as a get to know me and a Q&A. I'm Jack Kinsey-Clough. I'm a natural, competitive, classic physique bodybuilder from South Wales in the UK. I say natural now, but that is subject to change soon, but we'll get into that topic in a different video maybe, or even in these questions or whatever it may be. So I've got some questions here and I've written them all down, and I've separated them into 3 different categories, I guess. So we've got some like deeper thinking questions, we've got some more bodybuilding oriented questions, and then I've just got some quick fire ones. This is where we're going to start. We're going to start with some quick fire questions that will kind of answer some questions about me in terms of what I do and things like that. Starting off, number 1, how long have I been bodybuilding? So training and bodybuilding, I would class them as 2 different things. So how long have I been specifically bodybuilding for? To put a number on it, I would say around 7 years now. The next question, which ties into the previous one, what got you into bodybuilding? And I started training for football. I saw my body change and I liked it. So I started to dive a little bit deeper into what bodybuilding was. Thankfully, I had my father and brother who were both bodybuilders as a reference. Any questions I had, they could answer them. Okay, next question. Did you play any sports before bodybuilding? Yes, I did. I played football at a high level. That's why I started weight training. I played centre back. I needed to put on a little bit of weight. I was always taller, broad, but quite skinny. So I needed to put a bit of weight on. And I had been playing with people up to 5-6 years older than me for about 4 years. So when I was 12, I was playing against 18-year-olds. And I needed to put a bit of size on. But my old man, he said, we will start training when you're 16. So I had to wait 4 years before that. Not that I was in any kind of rush to train, because honestly, they had to force me in the gym because that was not my scene. I did not enjoy it. Luckily, we had a family gym. We just opened a family gym. So I started training now and again. It took me a while to get interested in it. Once I saw the results, once I saw that I was doing it for the right reasons, I committed to it, and yes, it did help me a lot in football. I put on quite a bit of size, I looked better, I felt better, and I performed better. So that's what I done before. So yeah, football. Next, how long have you been competing for? Okay, so I done my first season 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and I competed as a junior at 19 years old in bodybuilding. And then tying into that question, what made you transition to classic physique? 1, it's what I love. It's the kind of body I want to achieve. Luckily, my tie-ins, insertions, and genetics also allow me to fit into that criteria pretty nicely. So I think it was a natural transition to move away from being just a bodybuilder and wanting to get huge, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I love the look of bodybuilders. I love how fucking dense these people are, and the roundness and everything. And some of my favorite physiques are bodybuilders, but it's never what I wanted, and it's never something that I ever saw myself trying to chase. How many times have you competed and how many shows have you won? I don't know. Many. As you can see, there's many. Next question. How come you have stayed natural for so long? It's a good question, and I'm going to try to briefly answer this one. I was interested to see how much I could improve as a natural athlete because of how fast I was improving already. And over the last 2 years, I've started to put a bit more emphasis on ticking all the boxes, I guess we'll say. And even in the last 2 years, after already training for quite some time, I've made significant progress. So I was never in a rush to make the leap. There have been many occasions in my life, and I mean many, where I was convinced I was going to start, but for whatever reason, I didn't. I'll give you a few examples. Post-British, BNBF British 2019, I was set. I was like, yeah, I'm done with natural bodybuilding. I'm good. I'm no longer a junior after this season. Let me hop on. But if you're all aware, a few months later, the world shut down. So I was unable to do that. So that stopped me. That cut off. And okay, so the last time I was very close to starting, it was actually last year. Post-season, I was ready to take the leap and transition. But again, for whatever reason, things planned out the way they did. Ended up competing one more time as naturally, and I'm very, very thankful for that. As again, I learned a lot, and it was for the right reasons. And now, going into this year, this is the year that it happened. So I was never in a rush, and I always say things happen for a reason. And life just decided that right then and right in those moments was not the moments for me to make that leap. And again, I'm very thankful for that, because I truly believe that right now is the best spot I've ever been in my life, not just physically but mentally. And I think that's something people maybe don't even think about, is how developed your brain is as an individual when you start using these kind of things. You know, I'm older now, I'm wiser now, I'm a lot more mature now, and I truly believe I've cemented myself as who I am inside of me to be able to make that next step. Also health, I've had some health complications that have, you know, touch wood, have been handled very well over the last few years. I think I was stubborn to it before and almost shied away from it and didn't want to accept it. So I just didn't pay attention to it. And again, I would have been very naive and stupid, honestly, if I did make those decisions before to use stuff when I was not in a healthy state to do so. So that is also another reason why. So again, that's something I'm very, very, very conscious of going into this next step of my career, is health. Health for me is number one. I don't plan on doing this for very much longer. I will be honest. I don't plan on being a bodybuilder for the rest of my life. In my brain, this is kind of it. I want a good last run, and then I want to get out and I want to do other things with my life. Okay, let's touch on some bodybuilding ones. Tips for achieving peak natty status apart from everything obvious. Well, you've answered your own question there. Everything obvious that you need to be doing, do it right. Simple as that. Question number 3, how did you find this prep? Honestly, and I've said this many times, easy. Very easy. It was straightforward. I had one goal. I set my eyes on that goal. I worked very well with my coach, and we done everything in our power that we could have to bring me at my best. We done exactly that, and that's all there is to really add. I had a goal every single day to chase, and I done that. There was nothing stopping me. There was never, do I want to do this? Am I good enough? It was just do. Don't think, just do. We're back. Okay, camera died. Don't know where we were. We're back. So I'm just gonna pick up where I think we left off. Advice for classic posing. Very easy. Practice. 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 Just like any posing, practice. You don't need the flow, you don't need to be Terence Ruffin, you don't need to be Logan Franklin. Practice poses that suit your physique. If you are someone with very, very, very shite arms, don't do a mantis pose. You know, just find your flow, find your feet, find your style. Don't try to replicate things that don't fit you. Just find your own little thing. Full split breakdown. Tuesday push, Wednesday pull, Thursday legs, mainly quads. Friday I rest, Saturday is push and arms, so push and biceps, and then Sunday posterior, Monday rest. Next, coming so close to achieving your IFBB card naturally, what impact did that decide on you hopping on? Well, I haven't hopped on just yet, but it actually had no impact whatsoever, because the decision to hop on was made before I even competed this year. Me and Tim had a chat beforehand, and I said, look, if things don't go to plan, i.e. like they did, if I don't achieve my card, what's the plan? We both came to the agreement that either way, the plan didn't change. I was going to hop on regardless. So even if I did have my card right now or not, which I don't, the decision was made beforehand. Best show you competed at, or why? IMBA Universe in Romania, I shall say. Best venue, best lighting, best setup, best tan team, best organization, friendliest people, cheapest country to bloody compete in, everything. Everything absolutely perfect. Best advice for up and coming bodybuilders. Very easy, don't overthink. Breaking it down to its simplest form, it's train hard, eat food, recover, go again. That's it. People overcomplicate it. Overcomplicated seems to sell right now, so people will try to sell you BS. But if you want to be a good bodybuilder, you'll realize that when you can keep it in its truest, simplest form, you will become a better bodybuilder. Don't overthink things. Don't get caught up in this is the best way to do things. Don't be afraid to apply things. Don't be afraid to read something, apply it, and see if it works for you, yes or no. Experience will always trump knowledge. So if you're someone who has read all the books in the world and you have all the knowledge in the world but you don't have any results to show for it, or you've never applied that stuff because you don't have the time in this game with the experience in this game, then please never tell me what to do. Bodybuilding is beautiful because you get to create your version of it. So do that, create your version. Moving on, let's get into some deeper questions. Over your career, what's the most fulfilling win and why? Probably the latest one in France. Although I didn't achieve my pro card, it was probably my most fulfilling win, and not for anything to do with stage. I think coming off stage, not achieving the main goal, which is to get that card, and seeing literally the people I love the most in this world, and the people who love me the most in this world, seeing them and them being so heartbroken for what happened, and realizing how invested those people are in my journey, that trumped every win ever. Just being there with the missus, the parents, Tim. My relationships become so much better and deeper with all those people after that show because of what happened, and I will not take it back for the world of me, because that, like I said, everything happens for a reason. If money was no object, what would you do with it and why? If money was no object, I would be in the middle of nowhere on a ranch with a big ass house, with houses surrounding it, with all my family and friends in, with a big ass gym that I can train in for people to come into. I'd have a lot of land. I would just be in complete isolation from the BS in the world. And honestly, I'd probably just invest it into things that have made me happy over the years. And what I mean by that is, like, if there was a local football team or something that I could invest money into, knowing that how much football impacted me as a kid, I'd invest money into that team, make sure all those kids had like the best training facilities, the best kits, the best boots, the best whatever. Next one, and this one's a deep one, man. What are the most influential times of your life which you feel have made you the person you are today, and what would be your advice to your younger self if you wanted to change anything? Deep. There's a few. They stand out to me for different reasons. I think it'd be 3 different ones if I had to name them, and I'll name them in chronological order, that I truly mean like they actually had influence in my life. Number 1, I would say, is moving back from Spain to here when I was 18 or 19. Number 2 is I spent a big chunk of my life alone in search of myself. I know that's deep and I don't want to get too deep into it, but just figuring out who I was, and I truly believe that solitude is the only way to do that. So I spent 2 or 3 lonely years on my own, but I came out the other end of it a much better person and being my own best friend. And that's something I do like try to show to the world, that I'm very happy in my own company. I'm very happy alone. And that was only achievable by spending a lot of time on my own and understanding who I am, what my actual like thought processes are, what my values are, what my opinions are. And I was never influenced by things around me. I just truly made up or decided what, like, who I want to be, who I am, and then I carried forward in my life. Before that, you know, you're young, you're naive, you're surrounded by people, you don't really have a moment to stop and think, who am I? And I've had that time in my life, and I came out the other side a better person, but still made a lot of mistakes after it. And then the 3rd would probably be last year, because again, last year I made the decision again to come back to bodybuilding. And that was after realizing that the things I had around me didn't make me happy, and honestly, the people around me didn't make me happy. And that, what I mean by that is I just didn't fit in with these people. I didn't see eye to eye with these people. Our values and our ways of seeing life were very different. So I removed myself from those people, and they're not bad people. We just, it just didn't work, you know? And I came to that realization. So again, I spent a bit more time on my own, and I decided to start a prep. And all of last year, that's what it was. It was a lot of just me against the world, but with very good support around me. And it was just committing to myself and proving to myself that once I make a commitment to me, I am going to follow through with it. Last year wasn't about bodybuilding. Although I achieved the things I did, it was a commitment to myself and just proving to, like, if I say, Jack, you're going to do this, I am going to follow through with it. And that just made me realize how much I did respect myself. So once I do commit to my things, the things I say I'm committing to, I will follow through with them. And that comes with bodybuilding, life, relationships, business, whatever it is. Once you can commit to you and just hold yourself accountable without the need and accountability for anyone else, it's a lot easier. And final part of that question is, what would be the advice to give the younger self if you wanted to change anything? Honestly, I know this sounds so cliche, but I wouldn't give any advice to me. I would just say, like, be you sooner. And what I mean by that is, like, it took me a long time to realize that the people love me for who I am, not the person I was trying to portray or trying to fit in when I really didn't need to. Hardest and easiest thing is to be yourself, and it's very true. And it goes back to the second part of what I said is, like, when you don't know who you truly are, or you're not comfortable, or you don't, like, respect yourself enough, how can you expect others to? But not only that, if you really don't know who you are, then how do you actually be yourself? It's easier to, like, just guess and just try to fit in, whereas you should just be you. And that's what I would say sooner. Don't be the person you think people want you to be. Be the person that you know you are, and just do that sooner. Medals, trophies, and placements aside, what's the most rewarding part of being on stage? I would say just knowing you've done everything. Like, again, this is, I guess, personal. Everything that was asked of me or put in front of me, I've done. And that's probably the most rewarding part. Like, it is that the wins are never rewarding. They're never as rewarding as knowing you've done everything. But that's bodybuilding, is knowing you woke up every single day with a goal and an objective and tasks to tick off, and you done that and it made you better. And then the next day you done it again without an immediate, without an immediate result. You done it without an immediate gratification. You know, like I said, it is delayed gratification. That's what all bodybuilding is, because we're forever chasing something we really know we'll never achieve. Knowing that you're cashing in right now, and every single day you're cashing in for something that you know you're going to get towards right at the end when it matters the most. So that's the most rewarding part for me anyways, knowing that I've done everything and I'm the best I could be in that moment of time that I was still on stage. I couldn't have been better. Health aside, is there anything that would make you stop competing and you'd be okay with it? Honestly, many things. And there's sometimes in my journey that I look for reasons to stop, because I'm not married to this game. I love it, but I'm not obsessed by it. And I've said this many times, I don't think people believe me, but if I woke up tomorrow and bodybuilding didn't exist, I know I'd be okay. I'd be okay stepping away from it. Yes, it's what I love doing, but I love a lot of other things in my life, and bodybuilding kind of get in the way of those things sometimes too. So, for example, traveling. I love to travel. Although I hate flying, I love to travel, and bodybuilding does get in the way of that. So, like, in 3-4 years time, if I stopped bodybuilding, I was able to travel the world and go to different places without thinking I've got to eat meals, I've got to train, I've got to do my steps. It would make it a lot more enjoyable, a lot easier to do, and think, oh, calories here, calories that. I don't want to be that person for the rest of my life. I touched upon that before. I don't want to be that person. Whether you like it or not, bodybuilding does have a certain shackle on you. And although, again, I love it to my core, I look forward to the day where that shackle is no longer on me, and I'm able to live other parts of my life that right now do get, I guess, sacrificed to be able to pursue this. 2-year goals. If we're talking life, I want to be in a position where just being me influences many people. Just being me is my source of income, and by that I mean I don't want to be a coach, I don't want to be a bodybuilder, I don't want to be anything. I want to be me, who has many different branches coming off him with many different sources of income, and that allows me to live the life I want to live. I don't really want to live a very like extravagant luxury lifestyle. I need very little to be happy, so that's what I want. I don't want the most. I want enough to live the life I want to live and to be able to give back, but I want just me being me to be what allows me to do that. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to build that, and like I said, this is one of the steps. Something people don't know about you. This is a good one, and I had to think about this because I'm like, what don't people actually know? What people don't know about me is I'm a massive gaming nerd. And what I mean by that, more specifically COD, I love Call of Duty. I've played Call of Duty for 10 years of my life, and I mean played religiously. And I'm very fucking good at it. Very good, to the point where I know I should have gone competitive with it many years ago, but it is something to this day I play. And honestly, it's one of the reasons I hate prepping so much, is because I'm unable to play video games when I'm on a prep, because I lose my concentration levels pretty early on. So I think that's probably what people don't know. Like, I watch a lot of Call of Duty competitively. I like competitive things anyway, so stuff. I like to watch a lot of things to do with gaming. I'm interested in gaming. I've played shite my whole life. It'll be something that I will do for the rest of my life. It used to be something I was like, oh, I'm getting old now, I gotta stop gaming. No, gaming is awesome, especially online gaming. Like, I've met some of my best friends online gaming. Shout out Alex in Norway. I hope he watches this. Alex and me have become best friends through gaming on Call of Duty, and I truly mean that. I speak to him every single day. That guy became my best friend, and gaming and online gaming specifically can give you so much, so freaking much. Like, that's how I met some of the best people in my life. Like, that's how I met James Hollinshead, is through gaming. Mitch, Nick, everyone. Like, there's so many people, influential people in my life that I met through gaming, and I'll never stop it. So yeah. And the other thing is streaming. Like, I enjoy watching streams. I watch a lot of streams. I stream myself. It's something I want to do more in the future. It's like a goal of mine is to become a streamer, and combine what I do now in terms of bodybuilding with gaming, because it allows you to connect two worlds that you might not connect otherwise. And the last one of the deeper questions is, what has been your biggest lesson in life so far? And that's a really deep one, but I've already touched upon it. Is my biggest lesson has been that I really don't need a lot to be happy. What I do know is the things I do have, I cherish them and I love them, and it's all I need. And that is friends, family, girlfriend, dog when I had her, may she rest in peace. It's just close connections with people and good interactions. It's very simple things that make me happy, and that's all I need. And it's to the most simplest things as well, like waking up and having good coffee, going outside for a good walk, being in sunshine, having a good conversation, having like an intellectual back and forth conversation with someone, not talking and someone just waiting to talk. It's listening, talking, interacting, exchanging ideas, exchanging energy, all that stuff. As I said, good coffee, good food, a good training session, like all these things make me so happy that things like money would never be able to buy me. Again, a good fucking gaming session with the boys. Sick, it's awesome. I've always had these things in my life. They've always been a constant, and that's what makes me happy. That's why they're always there. And the more I realize that, the more I'm invested in them. Like, I want to spend loads of time with my parents. I want to spend loads of time with my friends. I want to spend all my time with my girlfriend. I want to create memories, because I love talking about memories. That's what we do. We sit down. Do you remember this? Do you remember that? That's life to me, and I love it. I never go, oh, do you remember when I had that Gucci watch? Fuck that shit, bro. Fuck Who cares? Gucci, you're still an ugly... I think I've got one more question that's come through on Instagram, and that is actually from my mum. And she says, if there was one point in your life that you could go back to, where and what would it be and why? And that is a tough question. And I don't know the answer to it. But nothing stands out, and because I don't know if that's good or bad, but just because I want to give an answer to this, I think it would be the day I moved back from Spain back here. I remember being on the plane and just thinking my life was over, but I was just upset all the time. That's all I could think about was going back. That's all I could think about. And I would just probably go back to then, and if I could change the way I thought, even if it was just like put a message into my brain, it's like, it's all going to work out. It's all for the right reasons, because I know it was. And like right now, the best thing my parents ever done, apart from move me to Spain when I was 5, was move me back here when I was 18, because that has allowed me to create all of this and like be so much freaking happier. Yeah, so we're gonna end on some quick fire questions. So we're gonna run through some of these. How long have you been training for? 8 years. When do you start bodybuilding? I answered that 8 years ago. Same question. How does training differ being natural to someone who takes PEDs? It doesn't. It really doesn't. You train just as hard. You just need to recover. If you can recover from doing X, Y, and Z as a natty, you can probably recover a bit better if you're using PEDs. Very simple. Long-term goals, IFBB. Any particular shows you like to do going forward? Long-term goals, yes, is achieve a pro card. But before that is achieve a pro physique. That is the main goal right now. Long-term goals is, excuse me, achieve a pro card, make it to the limit. Any particular shows I'd like to do? Let's just say before I turn pro, I'd like to do a show in Sweden. The NPC Sweden looks like a great show. If I was to get my pro card, I would like to do the show in Romania, the Romania show. The whole setup of that show this year looked incredible. So Romania would be a show I'd love to do, or the Alicante show, which is the Empro, I think. That would be a good show to do. How did you and the missus meet? We both done a PCA show last year. She apparently saw me and fell in love with me straight away. And then she messaged me like shortly after. We talked to her for a little bit, but I will admit, I was very much deep in a prep, so I couldn't differentiate the fact of someone being nice to me to someone flirting with me. And she did flirt a little bit here and there, and eventually I caught on. Eventually we went out on a date that she asked me out on, by the way. So hats off to her, because she did create all of this. And then that was February or March last year now. So yeah, that's how we met, at a bodybuilding show. Did you play any sports growing up? Yes, football, touched upon that. What kind of music do you listen to? Everything, and I mean everything. Rap, country, indie, 80s rap, 90s, everything. Apart from the only thing I don't like is dubstep, drum and bass, techno, really, stuff like that. That's not my kind of cup of tea. Favorite place you have visited? Vienna, probably Vienna. Vegas was sick, but probably Vienna, and I would love to go back there. How do you speak Spanish? I've touched upon that. I lived in Spain for the majority of my life. So yes, I am fluent in Spanish, fluent in Catalan. I am 80%, 75% fluent in French, because I learned that in school. So I do speak a lot of French. Plus, I lived close to the French border. There's a lot of French people around me. I've been to France a lot of times in my life, so I had to learn French. Yes, I do speak it, and I understand a lot more than I speak. When will you visit Norway? Talk about Alex, my Norwegian brother, my Call of Duty brother, best friend for life. Hopefully this year. Hopefully this year. How tall are you? 183 centimeters according to the doctors, as of whatever I went bloods then 3 weeks ago. 183. I had to get measured there with that scan thing. Favorite food? Flapjacks. As of right now, come out of prep, flapjacks. I have an obsession with flapjacks. I've only had one since prep ended, but I just love flapjacks. Biggest inspiration? There's many people for many different reasons. I'll touch upon them all quickly. My father, for being the guy he is, hardworking. If you've ever met him, you love him. Everyone loves my dad, very simple. My brother, like older brother, you look up to your older brother, but if people knew the stuff he'd been through and how he's come out the other end of it, you'd all look up to him, as the people already fucking do anyway. Everyone loves my brother as well. My mum, for holding everything together, and I mean that, like the heart, the hub. That's, my mum is, again, I know everyone says that, but she's the greatest mum. Couldn't ask for anything more. My sister, because of how she handles her life and the situation she was put in, she doesn't complain, she just gets shite done. And she's raised 3 beautiful children that inspires me, because I don't have kids. One day I want kids. I know how my parents raised me and my brothers and sisters, and we've all come out pretty okay. And obviously I learned a lot from that, but then seeing when your own siblings raise kids as well, and to do such a great job at it, that to me is inspiring. So like they're all different reasons. It's not like, oh, I admire Michael Jordan because he's a, yes, cool, Michael Jordan's sick, but I feel like those people closest to you, or at least people closest to me, inspire me the most. And if I had to touch upon bodybuilders, honestly, and this is not because of who he is, but and I've said this since day one, and that's why we become friends, but James Hollinshead is one of my biggest inspirations ever. Bodybuilding, like we'll talk about bodybuilding quickly. To get that dense, that big, that strong, look that way requires a lot of fucking hard work, and I take my hat off to that, and that's inspiring. But if you've met him, you talk to him, he's one of the greatest human beings on this earth. And if only, not only all bodybuilders were like him, would bodybuilding be fucking so much better, and would the industry be so much like cleaner, not so cliquey. But if just humans were like him, we'd all live a better life. Very simple. And again, and that's just not me saying this, anyone that knows James would tell you. And there's a lot of things that James does for us as his friends that many people never know of, and that just speaks volumes of it, because he doesn't need that pat on the back to say, oh, well done. He's just that kind of person. So I think that's everything. I think that is everything. We'll see how this comes out, but if you have watched this video, thank you for watching. Hopefully I can edit this. I'm excited, bro. Excited. If you have enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I gotta get used to saying that now. But just leave a comment down below. If you got this far, leave a comment. Just type mullet. Mullet. Because look at that. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you soon. Peace.